Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for the live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you that are just getting started in this wonderful world of voiceover. And through my channel, I share with you tips, tricks, techniques, things that I do every day in my own voiceover business, and then we get together in these weekly chats to talk about a topic or two. And today's chat came from a recent conversation, or a few conversations. Anthony Pica and Gabby Nistico did a live, when was that? A couple of weeks ago now, about a particular scam in the audiobook circles, the Ashwood Curse. And right after that, someone else had gotten that email in our Discord. So I figured, let's go through how to spot some of these things. Because even if you're not, if you're just coming into this industry, and I'll put the poll up in a second, but if you're just coming into this industry, you're so excited and yet so, dare I say, terrified at the same time, because you want to make a great first impression, but you don't want to be taken advantage of, and you don't want to fail right out of the box, right? So any and every kind of offer is exciting, right? And we might not take the time we need to take to actually go through and take pause and verify some of the information before we actually move forward. And I had a lot of these too in the beginning. And I had to ask myself, like, I'm a very analytical thinker. I don't really move on, I'm an Aries, so I do move on impulse, but I do take the time to look at things from an outside perspective, I suppose. So when I first started, and all I had was maybe a profile on ACX and then a website, and then I was getting like a couple of just amazing offers right out the jump, I'm like, well, how did these people find me? Did they really choose me? I'm a nobody from, all of these other very talented people, and and they reached out to me with this incredible offer. I mean, how could this possibly be real? I was flattered, and that's exactly how they get you. They flatter you, right? They say, oh, yeah, this project is huge. It's going to be ongoing. It's $5,000. It's, and you are the perfect voice. You're so talented. You're so professional. All of these things. And then I was thinking to myself, I mean, I'm kind of a nobody at this point. Why? How did they find me? Why? How? Right? So you start kind of asking all these questions. And I'm glad that I did, because they were, in fact, scams. So, and as I always say, the best way to catch some of this stuff, if you're just starting out, join the groups. At least get into some Facebook groups, some Discord groups, something. So that way you can bounce these ideas off of other more experienced people. Even if they've been only doing this maybe a couple of months longer than you, that's still more experience than you, right? So join the groups, because community is everything in this industry, and everybody's very helpful and supportive. I've never been part of a more warm, supportive community ever in my lifetime than I have with the voiceover and audiobook community. So don't feel dumb. Ask the questions. Get the help you need, right? Tangent over. Hopefully that's the only one for today. Probably not, knowing me. But today's poll is, do you verify the clients that reach out to you before accepting the work? And as I always say, try to get the manuscript. And we're talking audiobooks today, just audiobooks. Try to get the manuscript before you start. That's one of the big things. And I actually have a presentation for you. See, I'm all over the place already. I have a presentation for you today. I'm going to show you how to spot some of these things and what to ask yourself. But ideally, before you even start doing any of this stuff that I'm about to show you, get the manuscript, because that will just you know, that will determine whether or not you move forward, period. You want to verify the word count. You want to verify the content. Are you familiar? Not familiar. Are you comfortable with the content? Right? I've had authors explain stuff to me. Oh, yeah, it's very vanilla. There's, minor, intimate scenes and things like that. But then when I look at the content, it's like crazy, right? Everybody's got different definitions of levels of romance, particularly. Anyway, tangent. Okay. So this will kind of give me an idea of who the audience is today. Where did that even come from? Squirrel. Okay. So do you verify clients before accepting work? So 30% of you said yes, always. Good. 27% of you said sometimes. Thank you for your candor. I don't always either. I just kind of rely on my intuition and my experience. But if you don't have the experience, I highly recommend verifying, especially these days, verifying everybody before you agree to anything. 3% of you said rarely, and then 39% of you said I don't know how. So perfect. So what we're going to discuss today hopefully will help you spot some of this stuff going forward. And if you are watching and have a little bit of experience, and maybe you've experienced something that could have been a scam, was a scam, please share it in the comments. And if you have questions, again, there's no dumb questions. If you have a question about something, please ask. That's why we do this. That's why I sit here on Tuesday mornings and do this, is to help you guys sort of sidestep bombs. I'm in a mood today. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. It is St. Patrick's Day, and it's Eric's birthday. Eric, are you here? Eric, happy birthday, Eric. Okay, presentation time. You guys are in for it today. Okay. All right, so how to verify an audiobook client in 5 minutes. All right. So the first thing that you want to do, and this is what I always do, is whenever somebody reaches out to me and it seems like it, actually, even if it's not too good to be true, I mean, anybody and everybody, I will Google them because that's just me, right? I am the overthinker, classic overthinker. Okay. Google the client's name. And I'm going to say this many times. If they send you a link, if it's on Fiverr, it's on Upwork, ACX, if they direct email you, wherever it is, and you didn't solicit anything, if they're reaching out to you saying, hey, I want to offer you this job, check us out here, or check out the script here, and it's a link that looks kind of fishy, it's not like a Google Drive folder, or it's just some weird random link, or just better yet, don't click links. Period. End of story. Do not click links. If a customer wants you to see something or look at their website or get to know more about them and they send you a link, don't click the link. Just take their name and Google it yourself, right? Don't take the shortcut because it could be something harmful for either you or your computer. So don't do it. Google them. Google the author's name, the company name, the email name. AI search engines could be a huge benefit, is a huge ally for you. Google and AI search engines, you could take a phone number, you could take an email address, you could take whatever they give you and then punch it into even ChatGPT or Google Lens or Google, the AI search engine for Google. You could and get all the information on where that phone number comes from, where that email address comes from, who this person is. Right? Google, use those resources, right? Look for their website. Look for any books that they have listed, books that they're working on. I'm telling you, authors are very proud of what they're doing. They will have content somewhere on their website. They'll have a blog, they'll have socials, they'll have their book somewhere. They'll be talking about it. Either when they're writing it, they're talking about the plot. They want to market it, they want to sell it. Right? So they're going to have it in many different places. So Google it. Red flags. If there are no search results, if there's only brand new accounts, like if you find a Facebook account for this author and they started it or they created the Facebook account last month or this year or yesterday, right? You might want to stop and pause and take a harder look at it. There's no connection to publishing or books, right? I mean, will there be maybe an author who's shy about their work? Yeah, probably, but somewhere they're going to be talking about it because they want to sell it, right? That's the major thing. The whole purpose of writing a book is to sell it. So you got to market it. Was that another tangent? That might have been another tangent. I apologize. Check the book itself. Check the presence of the book itself. Look for it on Amazon. Look for it on Audible. There have been times where authors have wanted to update their audiobook. Now, you're going to find a lot of different answers or a lot of different opinions on this. There have been times where someone else was trying to take someone else's work, and you find that the audiobook has already been done. So that's a huge red flag that the person that you're talking to is a ne'er-do-well, right? They're taking someone else's work and they're trying to claim it as their own and make another audiobook. But there are also legit times where authors want to update the audiobook. Maybe they hired a brand new narrator and the sound quality wasn't that great, and they want to update it with something a little bit more professional sounding. It just is what it is, and that could be a legit thing, but that would be a great time to ask more questions, right? I see that this book has already been published in Audible by such and such a narrator, if you even want to go that far by naming the narrator. Are we revamping this? Is this a updated version of the book? Why are we producing this audiobook when there already is a version, live on Audible? Ask questions. It's a good opportunity to ask more questions. If the book's on Goodreads, authors will put their book on Goodreads, right? Or talk about it. Is it on their socials? Are they talking about their book on socials? Does this book even exist anywhere online at all, period? Does the author have other titles? Is this their first book or do they have other books in the works? Is this a real publishing effort? Do they have, maybe it's a publisher that listed this book? Is it like a legit publisher? Is this something that is even finished? Right? There's a lot of times when authors will reach out to me saying, hey, I'm working on this book. It's in the editing process. Sometimes it just never comes to fruition. You don't want to put something on your calendar that's not done or may not ever be real, right? You want to see the final manuscript. Another reason why you want to see the final manuscript before you agree to anything. If it is a publishing company, you want to verify the company, same thing. Don't click links. Never click links. Google them yourself. Copy their name and go to Google. If it's a publishing company, they will 100% have a website address. Look at the website quality. Does it look like a bunch of stock images? Does it look like it's just like a single page with not a whole lot of information on it? Does it look janky? Right? Do they have a portfolio on there or past or other audiobooks that they've published? Do they have a team page like an About Us or Meet Us or, Contact Us? And then there's different employees listed on the page. Do they have any kind of credits? Look for audiobook samples. There's almost all of the publishing companies that I have Googled will have books in progress or books that they've done, because just like us, showing off our portfolios to authors who want to hire us to narrate their audiobooks, publishing companies will want to have the same sort of, proof. Here you go. Here's all the other books that they've done. They're proud of them, right? That's proof that they are a legit company. And to go even a step further, you could even look into those books and see if they were in fact published by these people, right? Again, I'm overthinker. Big overthinker. Okay, so red flags. Again, stock images only. They don't have any credits. They don't have any services listed, right? If it's just like a singular page, hey, we're audiobook publishing company and come, work with us. And maybe just in like a contact form. There's nothing else there. Maybe that's a pass. Check their contact info. If they sent you an email address, is it like an email address at their domain? I hear this a lot about Gmail and Yahoo addresses. Some, old dogs, new tricks kind of a thing. I have a Gmail address. I don't immediately consider someone having a Gmail address or even a Yahoo address a red flag. I would dig a little bit deeper, right? Because Gmail addresses, a Gmail address for a business is super handy because then you get all of the other things that come with having a Google account for that address. So that's not an immediate red flag, but other people will tell you otherwise. Use your own discernment on that one. Just dig deeper. But the big things that you want to look at in the email itself that they're sending you, how is the conversation structured? How is the spelling? Does it look like it's a copy and paste? I get that a lot, where they'll even copy in someone else's name, like they're greeting someone else entirely. Obviously, it's been sent to many other people, so I shouldn't feel special, right? It's been sent and copy and pasted to a bunch of other narrators, so immediately I'm going, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, the project details. If they sent you an email about the project itself, are there all of the elements in there that we need to know? Word count, what is the genre, what is this about, where is this going to be published? Ideally, what kind of time frame do they have? Those sorts of things. But always, always, always ask questions, clarifying questions. If these standards that you need to know are not included in the email, return the email and ask questions if you feel like it's legit after you've done all of your Scooby-Doo part. You've done all of your research on it, and then respond with all your questions. But anything with vague instructions, poor grammar, with urgency, like I need this done yesterday, hurry up and give me a decision, that's usually a big red flag for me because they want you to get the FOMO, right? They want you to fear missing out on this opportunity. So they want you to act now so you don't think. But you're smarter than that, right? You don't fall for that urgency thing. You know it takes you X amount of time to produce an audiobook. We all know that producing audiobooks is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It takes time. So no matter what they tell you, if I need this 30,000 word book done in a week, and it takes you, with your schedule and time and what you do, it takes you 30 days. Ask them, hey, can you be a little bit flexible? I'm not falling for the I need this in a week, so I need to act now thing. I'm not going to kill myself in the process of getting this audiobook done, right? But it's usually, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, but that sense of urgency is what makes them think that you're going to act right away without thinking. See, I'm over-explaining again. Okay, asking to move to WhatsApp or Telegram. That's another big one for me. I had one of those the other day. Someone reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, I need to get your WhatsApp to do this or that. No, thank you. I'm done. Immediately, I'm done. I'm not giving you any contact information. No, thank you. And some of those could be legit, but that's a red flag for me. Again, use your own discernment. If all of the elements of the conversation and all of the correspondence that you're receiving is starting to look like a duck, it's starting to walk like a duck, it may just be a duck. Make sense? So after all of the elements have been reviewed, the correspondence, the project details, everything that you've gathered up to this point, ask yourself these three critical questions. Is the pay realistic? Is it way above and beyond what you're currently asking? It's not immediately a bad thing. But if it's like way out of proportion, so if it's like a 10,000 word book, let's just say, industry standard for a per finished hour for an audiobook narrator is $250 per finished hour. So it should be around that mark for a 10,000 word book, maybe a little bit more, because a finished hour is 9,300 words. But they're offering you $500, they're offering you $2,000. It's a little bit too good to be true, and they need it like in a week, right? That's too much money for what it is, and they're needing it very fast. Red flags. Or the budget is way too low for a huge scope, or it sounds like it could be a huge scope, but they're being very vague in how they describe it. Right? That's to me, that's very suspicious. Is the scope clear? Did they give you the word count? Did they give you a timeline? What kind of deliverables do they need? Are they asking for raw files? Red flag. Or are they asking for, upload ready files for ACX? All of these little things matter. Make sure that these are all clear. The third question, is the usage clearly defined? Is this an audiobook only? Or are they asking for it to be put onto YouTube? Or is the verbiage unclear, and there could be a little bit of verbiage in there that could sound like AI modeling or AI training or internal purposes or anything like that that could make you believe that maybe there's more to this than just an audiobook? What platforms are they sending it to? Right? That's helpful to know. Are there any AI or like derivative language? Right? Got to be careful with that stuff these days, because they're starting to use language in, as we talked about before with AI auditions, that don't immediately look like AI, like usage terms, but could be. So we have to ask questions. And again, just side note, I'm not telling you all of this to scare the crap out of you to never step outside your comfort zone and get into audiobooks, because it's one of the best jobs out there. But I'm just giving you an idea of what to look for, what to ask for, I want you guys to be prepared. I'm not trying to dissuade you from anything. I just realize this could be very scary, but I just want you to be prepared. All right. Instant walkaway triggers. Walk away immediately if you see requests for any long, unpaid auditions. And auditions is in quotes, because what if it's, and this is a one that I found out very early on in my career. What if the audition copy they give you is the back matter to the audiobook? Or what if it is, it sounds like a book blurb, like it could be used for marketing purposes versus an actual audition, right? So if you've ever held a book, if you've ever been in a bookstore and you held a book and you read the back of it, it gives you sort of like a synopsis about what the book is about. So if the audition copy is that, are they going to be using that for their promotional stuff later? Or is this really a legit audition for this audiobook, right? Use your common sense. Mentions of AI training, data sets, voice modeling, generative AI, derivative, duplication, cloning, all of those words, right, that indicate AI training of some sort. Requests for raw files pre-contract. Now, I have had some publishing companies that said that they'll handle the editing, they'll do all of that, so don't worry about it. But before you send them anything, make sure that you have a contract in place. You have an understanding in place. And if it's a per finished hour book, I highly recommend having 50% non-refundable down payment first, before you hit the record button after the audition on anything. Payment that requires fees or processing fees, you should not be paying them for anything. You should not be paying them to audition. And this is like, I'm not talking about like voices.com or anything. I mean, you're paying the platform, but the client, you should not have to pay the client anything directly. No. A refusal to provide or sign a contract. If they can't agree to your terms for how you do business, you probably don't want to do business with them. Plain and simple, right? You can be flexible and maybe compromise on some of their business practices if they align with yours, if you're fine with them. But you ultimately are the business owner. I mean, I'm sure they are too. Here we go again, sidetrack tangent. But you want to lay out how you do business. And if they can't agree to that, then walk away. Walk away. The professional pause. When I need a moment to gather my thoughts, and maybe they're pushing because maybe they've shortlisted me and they've got 2 other people on the line or whatever it is, give yourself a pause and just ask them some questions. You can ask them this question. Thank you so much for the opportunity, but before moving forward, could you please confirm distribution plans, usage terms, provide a project agreement or contract, or do you have any questions about my terms for doing business? I mean, whatever stage that you're in, make sure that you're asking all of those questions. Now, this question is assuming that you haven't clarified anything else, and this is your opportunity before you say yes or no, and you're still kind of on the fence. Ask these questions, right? It'll filter out the scammers and it signals your professionalism. A lot of new narrators think that asking a client questions is like either insulting, it's a nuisance, I'm being annoying, they're going to think that I'm brand new. Whatever your reasoning is for not asking questions, wipe them out of your head, because asking a client questions signals your professionalism because you want clarity on what they're asking for. And if they can't give you clarity in return, you don't want to work with them, right? Because you're trying to understand what they're asking you for, the scope, the word count, the character voices. I mean, anything and everything that's involved with the audiobook itself. You asking clarifying questions shows how professional you are. It doesn't mean anything other than that. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. And if it's too much for them, then you probably don't want to work with them. That's kind of how I look at it. I need to know what I'm doing, and if they don't have the time or the wherewithal, the desire, whatever, I probably don't want to work with them anyway. The golden rule: if you can't clearly explain who the client is, where the audiobook will go, or how it will be used, or how your voice will be used, don't proceed. Scammers rely on urgency. Professionals rely on clarity. That's ultimately what it comes down to. All right, let's get over to the questions. That's my presentation. Thank you very much. Please tip your waitress. It's one of those days. All right. Let's see. No questions on Instagram. For those of you on Instagram, if you have questions, please ask. We got a lot of comments on the YouTubes. So let's go over to the YouTubes. Sage was first in. Hey, Sage. Good afternoon, everyone. I picked I Don't Know How, so today's live is going to be so helpful to those of us still trying to learn about the vast universe we call VO. It is a vast universe. There's a lot of variables and a lot of little nuances, but I guess there really is for any business, right? AJ Poppy, good morning. I chose sometimes because I think I know how, but I have not yet had the opportunity to try it out. Hopefully soon. And just, I don't have to do all of this research a lot. A lot of times clients are very forthcoming in what they need because, again, clarity is a good thing on both ends. So a client that approaches you with all of your questions answered and everything seems like it's legit, you can still ask questions just to make sure. I always do. If a client comes to me with the full scope laid out, I say, hey, thank you for reaching out. I just want to verify that I understand and send them a message back with a paraphrased sort of understanding of their scope, or I'll reiterate their scope just to make sure that I understand. And then if there are any further questions at that point, that's when you ask them. So there's usually clarity on both sides, but this presentation pertains to the instances where your spidey senses are tingling, right? Perhaps there's something that doesn't quite fit, or they reached out to you directly, right? They landed in your email box. These are the questions to ask. Alexander Patrick, good morning. Good morning to you. Review Exchange Group says, on Upwork, I only consider work from those with verified payments. On ACX, I have not verified rights holders and have had 4 completed books taken down by ACX. Ouch. Yes, there are, on each of the different platforms, there are little things that there's a checkbox in my head that the client has to meet before I will work with them. And for Upwork, one of those is having a verified payment. Their payment method is verified, right? Ideally, I'd like to see that they've spent some money already on Upwork and they know how it works, right? It's like social proof for us, for them. They've worked with freelancers on Upwork or this platform before. I'm going to get paid because their payment method has been verified. They've got some reviews, right? They're established on this platform. That's what I like to see. But to your point, yeah, you want to make sure that their payment method is verified. For ACX, where there's no way to verify through the platform who this person is, this is where my presentation would apply. I would Google their name. I would look them up on socials. I would look for a website. There have been times where I've even reached out to the author directly via their website and said, hey, are you aware that we're in talks with whomever the person is that you're talking to on ACX, if it's not the same name as the author? Do you know that are you aware that we're discussing making an audiobook? And most of the time, the author will respond to me and say, yes, that's us. Everything's cool. Thank you for asking. Or there have been times where the author said, no, I had no idea. And then you can help to take down the bad guy, right? Then you can alert ACX that someone's doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And you just did a big service for the author. So those are the times where I would reach out directly. Are you missing the music? I stopped the long intro because it was just, we don't need a long intro, do we? I don't think we do. Kat is here. Good morning, Kat. Chastity is here. Good morning to you. Joy is here. Hey, Joy. Good morning, everyone, from the calm after the polar vortex state of Michigan. Warming up. It's gonna be in the hundreds here in Phoenix this week. In March. Ugh. Sean is here. Hey, Sean. I am late again. Maple bacon beignets. Oh, I'm hungry. Kristen is here. Hello, Kristen. Good morning from Oklahoma City. Review Exchange Group says the ads on your stream are running again, FYI. Are there a lot? I keep adjusting this stupid thing. Sorry. I'll go back in and double check it again. Adekoya says, I did an audiobook for a client last year on ACX, about $600. The audiobook was non-exclusive. Till today, the client did not make the payment. I had a feeling the audio has been taken to another platform. And that can be the case, but this is a perfect example of asking for the funds up front, at least half, non-refundable, up front. So if the client does disappear, you at least have something to cover your time. If they did go to another platform, what I would do if I were you is I would see if I could find it. And if you wanted to, you could get, some legal representation or something. Because if it's through ACX, you have proof. You could even get ACX involved. I'm not an attorney, or I'm not giving legal advice, but that's what I would do if you were so inclined. Joy says, by the way, heck yeah, I check out everything about the client to get from the get-go. Good. Because that'll save you a whole lot of time too. Because if the client turns out to be something kooky, if it's the duck that it looks like, then you can move on to something else and not spend any more of your time on it. AJ Poppy says, in the context of your intro, I'll change my answer. I have gotten several scam emails like that and verified them to be illegitimate. Now I just ignore them based on the formulaic content and address. Yeah, you could usually tell. I mean, once you see one scam email, you can usually spot them after that. But if you have your doubts and you've done all of your research and you're still kind of going, I'm not entirely sure about this, that is when you go to your community. If you've punched it into the AI search engines and the search engines say, hey, this may be okay, like you're getting the general feeling like this may be okay. I mean, that's when you go to your groups. You go to your community and say, hey, has anybody else heard of this? Know about this? And you might have somebody that says, yep, run away. Or no, it's fine, Rustic Hillbilly is here. Good morning to you. Valley B says good afternoon from PA. Hello. Sean says, quick word on some groups. Some are very large and bloated, and advice can be incorrect as a newbie is answering. It happens all the time in the Facebook ACX group. Launchpad is best. I have to agree with you, Sean. If you're looking for a great group to join, link in the description. Come to VO's Journey Academy and join us in Launchpad. VO's Journey Academy we have our own Discord. There's a couple hundred voice actors and audiobook narrators in there, and you're going to get the answers you need. So come and join us. Learn some stuff. Be with your family. Hey, Donnie. It's okay, Angela. You tangent away. I will run in front of you, adding lanes. Don't encourage the tangents, Donnie. Yes, I have gotten to the point of asking for manuscripts. If they back out, I thank them and move on. Yeah, I just kind of cut to the chase in the beginning. Once they reach out, if they don't include the manuscript, I ask to see that first. Because that will kind of guide the conversation going forward. If it's something that I'm not down with, or if it's reading like it was written by a 4-year-old or AI, no, thank you. And then I move on, right? Dylan says, joke's on them. I think I'm trash, so when somebody tries to flatter me, I'm immediately suspicious. Oh, Dylan, stop with the stinking thinking. But I think you're just being funny. Mary Lynn says, hi, Angela and everyone from a brisk and sunny Tampa. Oh, we just got a super chat. Hold on. I'm coming, Sean. Hey, Sean. How you doing? I'm loving all your TikToks. Great job. It seems I've been declining requests more than accepting offers. If they don't show me the money and or ask for something non-standard, I tell them to go away. It is hard to avoid time wasters. Yeah, and I mean, for all of you watching, just keep in mind, anything that you're doing online, any kind of business, not just voiceover and audiobooks, but anytime you make yourself available online in any way, shape, or form, someone's going to try you on. right? Someone's going to get your email address and send you an email about fixing your website, or your payment didn't go through, or whatever it is. There's scammers everywhere. They're everywhere. Everywhere. Trying every angle to try you on to get you to bite. And that includes with audiobook work or voiceover work. I mean, it just is. Don't let any of that dissuade you, because you're going to run into that with anything that you're doing online. So educate yourself. Watching this YouTube stream is a great first step if this is your first step in this. Educate yourself so you know what you're dealing with, and then when they do approach you, you can make your educated decision to either move forward, ask more questions, or run away. Right? Don't let that stop you from something that you want to do. Just know how to handle it. Right? Thank you for the super chat. Super chat, Sean. Thank you for the super chat, Sean. I appreciate you. I'm having a hard time with my chiches today. Gia says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Gia. Valley B says, oh, it is St. Patrick's Day, isn't it? I should have wore green, because green brings out the green in my eyes. I'm wearing red, because that's my favorite color. I like red. Donnie says, same here, Dylan. I had one call me pretty, so I knew they were liars. Oh, don't get me started on, oh my gosh, the men that come at me with, like, they'll veil or be very vague in their descriptions, and it'll turn out to be something inappropriate. A lot. Or a date. Kristen says, had Upwork client close job right before they were supposed to pay. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Did you get Upwork involved with that? Because Upwork, unless it was like an hourly job and you did the time tracker, Upwork has, like, what do they call that? The payment guarantee thing. Or if it was a project, they should have collected the money from the client in escrow and then released it to you when you were done. So something in there was skipped. Upwork should have, they have like that payment protection thing. Like you should get paid if you did the job. So unless you did the job without an actual contract, milestone, something initiated with this client, then that could have been just a bad learning experience for you. But if it is something that you had something in place, I would reach out to Upwork and tell them what happened and say, hey, pay me. Where's my money? Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm not sure how to say that. My Irish is not the best. Sage says to Mary Lynn, it's 50 here in Gainesville, Florida. Sunny but chilly. Yeah, we're hitting a record high here in Phoenix. I think it's supposed to be 100 and something today. I don't like it. I'm not sure how to say that either. Good noon. Good noon to you. Vox Forged, hello, friends. Hello to you. Gia says, so true. When I first signed up on ICX, I got bombarded with some weird stuff and immediately became suspicious. Through research and reaching out, I was able to weed out the scams. Yeah, as long as you're asking questions, right? Don't just immediately go, oh, yeah, that sounds amazing. That's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So, I mean, even with something that, for me, if something does align to the appropriate dollar amount, to the appropriate timeline, to the appropriate, if it all clicks, I still ask questions. I still verify everything in my own understanding. Like I said before, I'll just reiterate what I understand as the scope and let them come back. And sometimes it's like a pasted answer. Like you can tell it's like a copy and paste thing. And then, I'll go, maybe not. It's no. Right. So I always ask questions, even if it does all align and make sense, because I want every opportunity for them to expose themselves as someone trying to take advantage. Again, overthinker. It's probably a good thing. Chastity says, yes, why is it so cold in Gainesville? Why is it so hot in the desert right now? It's spring. Pam. Hey, Pam. Gluten-free donuts, anyone? They're pretty bad and not in a good way. Gluten-free. I mean, isn't what makes a donut delicious gluten? Isn't that the main ingredients in a delicious donut? Pam. Sage says to Chastity, yeah, I'm actually wearing sweatpants and a hoodie. Oh my gosh. Review Exchange Group says, adding to the difficulty, titles are not copyrightable. So multiple books by different authors can exist. So the book offer could be real, but it's up to you to check. Yeah. There was a book that I saw the other day that had like 4 books with the same title. So you can't just search the title. You have to search the title and the author and or publisher and maybe even the date. I mean, any kind of information that you have, use all of those elements to find the specific book. If you have cover art, you can match it by the cover art, right? You can even like do the Google Lens thing. Take the cover art and go, okay, Google, what is this? And it'll tell you all the information that you need to know, if there is any. Right? Use the resources that we have today. There's so many different ways to suss out these people. Use them to your advantage. Review Exchange Group says, here's a tip, in my honest opinion. If there are multiple book titles being offered for audition on the same day by the same author on ACX and are royalty share, run, do not walk. You need the author to help with marketing. Yes, but I have also seen, I thank you for sharing that because that could be something to run away from. I have also seen authors who I've met quite a few last year that just bang out like short little books. They just write them, and then they publish them all at one time because, as we know, uploading anything that takes time, you want to do a bulk of them. It's like making social media content or anything else like that, or uploading audiobook files. You want to do it all at one time because it's time consuming. It's the same thing from the author's perspective. If they have something to publish, they're probably not going to do one at a time, especially if they have a bunch of small ones. They're probably going to upload them all at one time. But to their point, Review Exchange Group, same thing. Google them. Look up the information, verify, right? You have all of the answers that you need. You have all the resources to find the answers that you need. Use them. They're free for the most part. Vox Forge says, I had a strange one yesterday. I had someone who wasn't the rights holder reach out on ACX messaging. I contacted the author directly through their site and verified that it was not them. Good for you. You just did a huge service to that author. So good on you. Good job. Sean Tyler says, my big red flags are fear, doubt, and confusion. If the project checks all 3 boxes, I'm out. There you go. AJ Poppy says to Pam, I'll take one, thanks. I'm used to it. Oh, the gluten-free donuts. Let's see. Questions. Jim. Hey, Jim. Every proposal I send for any VO work includes a statement that I forbid my voice being used for AI under legal action. Worded correctly, it gets the point across without being rude. When did we talk about that stuff? Was it last week or the week before? I think it was the week before, and we talked about protecting yourself and your auditions. I'm still on the fence about including like any kind of AI writer verbiage in an audition. But to Jim's point, it makes sense. But thinking about how it may be received by the client, it could be rude. It could be I could be taken aback, or I could be empathetic and say, yeah, this is kind of the world that they live in, that they have to protect their voice because that's their IP, that's their money. But if you don't have somebody that is empathetic and understanding, they might take it as rude and you may never hear from them again. But do you take that chance? Right? That's kind of where I'm at. I'm on the fence about that. I think that's still, for me, a case-by-case basis where I will include some sort of verbiage that says, hey, I'm not down with the AI thing. But interesting to know that some people do that with everyone. Do that with everyone. Tanya's here. Hey, Tanya. Evening all. The sun is out here in Manchester. What's the temperature? AJ Poppy says, I've auditioned for children's books that posted the entire text for the audition. I voice 3 to 4 select pages and submit that. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that. Yeah, for children's books, they're probably just going to send the whole book because they're small, you know. I mean, children's books are usually about 1,000 words or less. So posting the whole book is pretty common, I think. Tanya says, I've had plenty of scams, which are usually fairly obvious, but also those $400 to $1,000 offers where authors are trying the market, or even offering $400 for the whole project, but misunderstood rules. Yeah, I think for me, it's just a case by case, but I especially these days, I will take a real hard, long look at what they're asking for, how they're wording it, and what the details of the scope are, because they are important. Hi, Steve, on Instagram. Thanks for stopping by. Paul, howdy. Donuts, cupcakes, and cakes? Oh my gosh. I can hear my stomach growl. Joy says, I had an AI job offer where the post states that my voice would be used for creating short commands and sentences for things like medical equipment and educational equipment. Are those jobs okay? That's up to you to decide. That's up to you to decide. The good thing is, Joy, that they told you that it was for AI duplication, generative AI, that AI was involved. That is the good thing. But it's up to you to decide that once your voice is recorded and input into this AI model, this training, whatever they're doing with it, that at some point, and Bev Standing with the whole TikTok thing was a great example of how this happens. Once your voice is recorded and for that purpose, for AI use, who knows where it goes after that, right? What if this medical company gets sold out and whoever buys it does something else with your voice because it's in their bank of voices that they have permission to use? That is the kind of thing that scares me. So that is why I don't do anything if there's AI related, involved at all. Because there's always that possibility that something somewhere, right, could be overlooked, changed, changing hands, that kind of thing. Bev Standing, again, TikTok, that was a perfect example of that. But it's ultimately your call, Joy, what you want to do with your business, if you want to take that chance. Maven Eldridge says, the only ACX offer I've ever received was a scam. I realized one chapter into recording, but thankfully hadn't given them any finished audio yet. What makes you think, what did you see in the first chapter that made you think that? You continued. It seemed legit. With the only beige flag being the author's name different from the rights holder, I accepted the contract, then started to connect the dots. Asked questions, and the messages got weird. Did you ask the author, or did you ask the person you were speaking to what their relationship was with the author? That's usually the first question. Again, when I ask for the manuscript up front, I'm verifying the word count. I'm verifying the content. I'm verifying that the author's name matches the person that I'm talking to. And if it doesn't, I ask the person I'm talking to, who are they in relation to the author? Better yet, I ask, does author's name know that we're producing an audiobook? Right? Just flat out, I ask them that. Jim says, Joy, they only want your voice so they can clone it. I promise that it will be used for more than just what they state. That's always the chance we take, you know, in doing that and taking those jobs. Kat says, no, I don't miss the music. It just was long. It was like just 2 minutes of just sitting here staring. We don't need it. Paul says, hi, Angela et al. Whatever happened to the Nigerian heiress wishing to donate multiple millions? They're still around. They're still around. The Nigerian king or the prince. Yeah, those scams are still around. Funny enough. They seem to have disappeared. Oh, no, they're still there. They're still around. Kristen says this was before they set up milestones, so grateful for their updates. Oh, I see. Review Exchange Group says, Upwork, you should have had milestones for fixed price work and hourly for by the hour. Hourly is treated like payroll and protected, but milestones require their funding. Check with Upwork. I also, if you have a full price singular project too, it's the same thing. Upwork will collect the funds and hold it in escrow until the job is done. The caveat is that I was reminded of just doing an Upwork job recently, is that if you don't use their time tracker through Upwork, then they cannot guarantee that you'll get paid for the hours that you just say. Like if you have to enter in your time manually, they can't back that up, Upwork. They say that in the fine print. But if you use their time tracker, that you click start, right, and it screenshots your screen like every, random interval, then they can back up that you will get paid what you said you get. Whatever time you tracked, you'll get paid. But if you enter it in manually, they can't guarantee that you'll get that. Just side note. Joy says Upwork keeps the money in escrow and then they have payment guarantees. Yes. But make sure you read through all of those on every platform. As I've said a million times before, whatever platform you're signing up to work on, make sure that you understand all of these different ways to get paid and that you know the appropriate way to go about it. Eric Grimes. Hey, Eric. Hi, Angela, and all great topic. Twice now, I have signed a Royalty Share Plus contract only need to have the author not pay upon completion. How do you negotiate getting partial payment up front? You just tell them, this is how I do business. This is a Royalty Share Plus contract, which means we share in the royalties and I get a portion of that up front. In this case, I take 50% of that based on the audiobook's length, right? You calculate half of that. I will send you an invoice via PayPal for this amount. And then the other 50%, whatever that is due at the end after any revisions are completed, yada, yada, yada. You just tell them, this is how I do business. And then you set the expectation for what is going to happen next for them. You're the professional. You set the expectation. And if they don't want to do it, bye. Maven says, I've actually had an amazing gluten-free donut. Really? Maybe I should try one then. Tanya says, 15 degrees Celsius here. Gluten-free donuts, taste of sadness. I'm going to have to go try one now. Colleen says, hi, Angela. Hi, everyone. Just got in from walking the dogs in the woods with all of you. Great topic. I have had several books taken down on ACX, and my guess is related to AI. It could be. I mean, it's a good thing these platforms are really cutting down or cutting back on or being a little bit more discerning about AI content. I mean, YouTube is a great example of that. They're starting to get rid of all of the AI, what they deem to be AI slop, right? So there are more regulations being put into place on all of these platforms, which is a good thing. So us in turn have to be a little bit more cognizant, educated, discerning about how we're going about doing business on these sites. And knowing that there's a little bit more protections in place, so that's a good thing. Hopefully they'll continue to expand and protect us further as time goes, but we'll see. Hey, that makes sense. Maven says, I did ask their relationship with the author and if they knew they were producing an audiobook. They didn't respond, then sent a message at 2 a.m. in a different chat. Are you awake? Yeah, that's a clear indicator of running far, far away very quickly. Yeah. So if they don't respond, that's when I don't give them any more of my time. If they're not going to respond to that question, that's a clear indicator that probably not. Oh, really? That's a lot of ad times. That should not be happening. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know. I'll go back and check the settings. Again, I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see ads on my end, but they should not be that frequent. That is not, no. Joy says, these AI companies really tick me off when they use tactics like my voice will be used for educational equipment because I work with special needs kids. They know I have a soft spot. I mean, most people do. Most people do, especially when they bring in children or like, what's the word I'm looking for? When they're like a nonprofit or a charity or something like that, then they know people will usually have a soft spot for that kind of thing. Maven says, yes, agreed. I immediately messaged ACX and they confirmed it was a scan. Good. Help to get those people off the platforms. If you see something like that, don't just go, right? Tell ACX, tell Upwork, tell Fiverr. Reach out to customer support and report them. Report them, block them. Don't let them take advantage of anyone else that didn't know what you knew. Right? Get those people off. Ken says, I had ads on my cell phone, nothing on my work computers. Interesting. I wonder how that... Professor Tracy says, good morning, Angela from Rochester, Minnesota. What website has the best jobs for character reads? That's a loaded question because all websites have jobs for characters. Most of the platforms that I have a profile on, they all have character work available on them. Marilyn says no ads on you. Yeah, and there shouldn't be, because if we're paying for the premium, you shouldn't have ads. But my point was that I don't see them on my end because I have the YouTube premiums. So I don't see the ads that you guys are being bombarded with. So I appreciate you telling me about them so I can figure out why they're so frequent, because they really shouldn't be. There should be like one at the beginning and one at the end is like, from what I understand, what it should be. It shouldn't be that many, but I'll go back and double check it again. But that's been on for an hour already. As always, this live stream is for you guys. So if there's something that you want to talk about as a group, there's something that you want to deep dive on, something you want multiple opinions on, or just my opinion, right? I kind of host this not just for me to be the knowledgeable talking head. I want this to be a group conversation as we do in our Launchpad sessions. So if there's something you want to talk about, something you want to know more about, then please let me know. Comment, if you're watching this on Team Replay, comment. Let me know what you want to talk about, and we can talk about it in a future live stream. That's the purpose of these. So let's do it. But until then, use your discernment. I hope something in my presentation will help you. Hope you made some notes on what to ask and look for going forward. Oh, hang on. I just saw a couple more comments. Maven says, I've had multiple scams on Fiverr too. Oh, yeah. Each iffy message chain eventually said this person can no longer be contacted. No, if they says this person can no longer be contacted, Fiverr has already put them in the spam folder. They've already blocked them. So there's nothing further you need to do at that point. Jat says, yo, I'm new. What's happening here? We're just hanging out, talking about you. I'm about to end this live stream, so I'll see you guys. Oh, no ads. Wow. I wonder if it's like the ads must be just like, what's the word I'm looking for? They are curated for you specifically for each watcher, just like Google. As soon as you start shopping for something, then you start to get a bunch of ads on Facebook and Instagram for that thing. It's the same thing on YouTube, I'm sure. Yeah. You'll have to ask my parents. I appreciate you. Odd, but thank you. But we're going to wrap this up today. I appreciate you guys all stopping by and asking questions again. Comment, let me know what you want to talk about in future live streams. But I appreciate you watching as always, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Thank you.